Well, we're here for the Eye on Piscataway show. We're on a road trip, and the road trip is to SIJ Stadium for our annual visit to visit the Piscataway resident who happens to be the head coach of Rutgers football. So, Coach Schiano, thank you once again for being on the Eye on Piscataway. So we're going to get down to it. It's prior to when the players come back for the 2023 season. We always give a preview of what you think may or may not happen during that time. So we're going to get right to the questions because time is money, especially in business. In your case, time is very precious for dealing with the student athletes. So what does it mean to be the head coach of Rutgers, and what makes this place special for you?
Well, as you are, I'm from New Jersey and born and raised, and it's real important to me that we have something special in our state. You know, and growing up in this area, North Jersey had the Giants and the Jets, and South Jersey.
We'll get to that towards the latter portion of the interview.
Okay.
Okay.
But that to me is what makes Rutgers special. We're dead the middle of the state, and we're something that the entire state can get behind. And you know, New York City can also get with us because they don't have a school, right? That school's way out up in the boonies somewhere. So
it's like four plus hours. We won't name that school's name.
We won't name any school. So. This is it, and what a special place. We're in a great league. The Big Ten Conference is the best.
You know, it's interesting. Prior to us interviewing last year, prior to the 2022 season, there wasn't the announcement yet of UCLA and USC coming into the Big Ten. Now that dynamic has seen, even though they're not physically in yet as far as scheduling of games, but they're in rotation, that must really change the whole dynamics for you as a head coach, having two premier teams from the West Coast now going to be opponents.
Well, I think it's great for the league, right?
Yeah.
You go at noon on a Saturday and you start watching Big Ten football, and at midnight you're still watching Big Ten football, and that to me is great.
So the sun never sets on Rutgers football, isn't it? I think that's the motto of what Guam, the territory, says: the sun, where America's day starts. So, but the sun will never set on Rutgers football. But how is it how's your tenure now compared to when you first came back in the early 2000s? I mean, now you've had a chance to step back and see from what you were coaching for many years prior to you taking a stint in the professionals and coming back now to Rutgers. What's different for you? What has changed?
There's a lot of different things, right? When we came here the first time, facilities were really, really behind. The program was really a mess. This is a little different. You know, we came back, there was a lot of things that needed to be fixed, don't get me wrong, but we started off at a much higher point. And the reality is we're in the Big Ten Conference now, which is completely different than what we were in the Big East. So those things make it different. And to me, going through the experiences I went through as a professional coach, but more importantly than that, raising 4 kids. My wife and I, right, raising kids that were little guys when we left here. You know, our oldest was a freshman at the time, and then coming back here and they're adults, and having gone through that journey with them, I think helps me understand these guys better. You know, raising 4 of our own.
Well, I think it also leads to this expectation that you can relate more to when dealing with the parents of the prospective athletes who may be looking at coming to Rutgers. You can respect since you've raised 4 of your own.
I think that's a good point. And you know, 3 of my sons played college football, and my daughter plays college soccer, so they were all 4 collegiate athletes. So I think I have a unique perspective.
So who has the job of during when football season is going? Who has the job of going to your daughter's soccer games?
My wife.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be able to sneak away to 1 or 2 of them, and I love going to watch her play. But just the schedules don't mesh so well.
That's what happens when you have more than 2 kids. But with that being said, and I know the feeling because I have 3, what is it like as the coach trying to recruit players from New Jersey, and not only just state but in the general region? I know you've been recruiting from all over parts of the country. What is your best selling point when you're meeting with a player and their parents? Because you're just not trying to sell the player, you're trying to sell the family on why they should come here.
To me, the biggest thing, number one, you got to find guys that are athletically talented enough to win the Big Ten Conference. That's number one. Otherwise, you're wasting your time. But once you find those guys, the second part's harder, and the second part is finding cultural fits for our program. And that's what we spend so much of our time figuring out. Will this guy fit the culture? And look, I'd love to have him be from New Jersey or New York, but you know what? Sometimes that's not the case. We need to find the guys that fit our program, and we need to go wherever we have to find them.
Now, because the footprint of the Big Ten is expanding, has that expanded your potential look on where you should be recruiting?
You know, you're talking about the West Coast.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's really a great return on investment for us to recruit on the West Coast. We've expanded quite a bit into the Midwest. You know, if you look at a place like Columbus or a place like Cleveland or Cincinnati, there's 5 or 6 flights a day.
Non-stops
a day. So it makes it very, very convenient to recruit those areas. So we've expanded that way, and then we've always recruited, you know, DMV and South all the way down to Florida. So the latest place where we've had some success in recruiting is North Carolina, and that's I think growing football as well.
Now, why North Carolina? Just out of curiosity.
Well, we go to find the guys that fit, right? So they're good enough, as I said, athletes, and then they're a cultural fit. And you know, sometimes it's when you change who's recruiting the area. Sometimes it's when it's just the way that it goes by the year. There's more athletes there that fit your makeup. But for whatever the reason, it's worked that way. And I think, again, you know, Charlotte, so many flights into Newark. We have an international airport right here, and then 3 others that are surrounding us within an hour. So, you know, there's plenty of opportunity to get here.
Now, speaking of recruitment, and I know you really can't speak a lot to your 2024 class, but however, the coaching staff, your assistant coaches, how do they play into the recruiting? Oh,
they're critical. I mean, they're the ones out there that are out on the street. They're in schools. They're meeting with coaches and players and parents. You know, I only get to go one time, so I get to have contact with them off our campus only once.
So that's per NCAA
per
rule.
Athlete, yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's critical teamwork, and they kind of bring me into the ones that we're really sure we're going to go on, and then we have official visits when we bring them to Rutgers, to your town, and that's been awesome too.
Well, I can always tell when some recruits are visiting that night because the lights are on at the stadium.
There you go.
So, but with that being said, speaking about assistant coaches, have you had any changeover since previous year or new coaching? Because like players, people come and go, you know, for career purposes. So, who's new on the block for you this year?
Well, the defensive staff is totally intact, which is great. The offensive staff, we made some big changes. Kind of a new old coach, Kirk Shiraka, who was here in 8, 9, and 10. He's back now as offensive coordinator. Dave Brock, who is now the wide receivers coach, he was here, not with me, but here after I left with Coach Flood. He's back. And then Andy Orrick is still on staff, and Damir Shaw. And then we brought Pat Flaherty in, the old coach from the New York Giants. He was the line coach there for, 16 years.
He's known in the New York City region.
Oh, yeah. And he coached here.
Yeah.
So when I met him as a graduate assistant here. He was the line coach at the time.
So like the old saying, what's old is new. But
there you go.
But there. All right, so we're going to go to that. Let's keep on the subject of recruiting. Is recruiting getting easier or harder? I mean, because now you have the transfer portal, you had names, images, and likes. I don't envy any head coach in that respect because the whole appears as a layperson that the whole dynamics of recruiting has changed drastically across the country, and I just want to get your perspective on that.
Probably the most seismic shift in college football in the history of the game. One, if it was NIL or if it was transfer portal or if it was the changing of the leagues, the makeups of the leagues, those alone would be huge changes. But all three happening simultaneously has made for, I don't know if there's ever been a time in college football history where there's been so much change in such a small area of time.
And in the past, you would spend a lot of time recruiting potential prospective candidates coming like maybe 2 or 3 years ahead of time before they would sign on the dotted line. And now because, names, images, and likes, it's like, I guess those programs that are well endowed financially may have a leg up on those that aren't and may create a potential disparity in recruiting purposes. And I know you were quoted in a paper a year and a half ago, something along that lines that there had to be a certain amount of funds in order to help out some of the student athletes.
Well, that's true, but that's not change. You know, people want to say, well, this has changed the game. No, there used to be illegal recruiting that went on where people were getting paid. Yeah. Well, now it's kind of brought above board, and now they're the same schools that had advantages have advantages still. Yeah. The biggest change is that now there's money that can be provided to student athletes that maybe aren't on scholarship. So it used to be there was an 85 scholarship level. You know, why can't you come to our school and we'll make sure you get enough NIL that you can pay your tuition and still have some money left over. Now you can have 100 scholarships rather than 85. That's the thing that makes it different. There was always money to be had.
I think part of the problem as a layperson, I think maybe the NCAA really screwed this up. They probably should have recognized something should have changed early on and stepped forward and maybe put I guess for lack of a word, some parameters on this. And now it just appears it's the Wild Wild West city out there to a certain extent.
Yeah, without getting into too much, you know, it's easy to criticize, right, and to second guess, but certainly things are a little out of control right now. And I hope and I think there's enough smart people involved that we'll get our arms around this. I don't think in concept that it's bad. I've said for 20 years, players should be getting paid in college.
No, and I agree with that line, but I think there should have been some parameters on it.
Well, no doubt. So now
because it makes all the coaches around the country, you know, on an even keel to a certain extent. So
well, that's the National Football League, if that's what you're looking for, right?
Yeah.
That's why 90% of the games come down to the final 2 minutes. That's not the way college football's been, and nor do I think it's the way it's going to be.
Okay. All right. Speaking of transfer portals, is that a way to really jumpstart the program now? Like if you have certain holes that you see somebody that may have a year or two eligibility left, that you're noticing now that more and more schools are actively using the transfer portal, and as well as the athletes.
I don't know if jump starting is the right word. I think it is a way to fill your holes, and that's the way we use it. I'm not looking to use the transfer portal to build the program, but just like we did in the NFL with free agency, I looked at it as, okay, these are things for this coming club, this team, this year that we need to solidify, and here's an opportunity to get an experienced player. The flip side to that is you better make sure that guy is a cultural fit, because you're bringing him in here to do what? To play right away. Yeah. So if he can play right away, he's good enough to play right away, and he's not a cultural fit, there's a chance he can lead some people the wrong way, and that isn't worth it. So it's really
in other words, you always run a risk of having a potential, underperforming apple, so to speak, coming on board, but you do your due diligence if you're looking for a player to come in.
Maybe not underperforming on the field, but underperforming in the cultural ways that we believe. So yes, we spend a lot of time on that and getting to know the young man, and usually where we've had success is where we've had some kind of connection with people at that school or people that we knew him in high school, so we already knew what kind of young man he is.
So going back to the transfer portal, how many players for the upcoming season have moved in recently in the transfer portal? Six. Mm-hmm. Is that the new norm? Anywhere between a half a dozen or so?
I think some people take 15. We're not in that. I still believe you build it through the high school recruits. They come in your program. They learn your culture. They grow in your culture. They grow in your. We're a developmental program. We're going to develop guys. But again, to fill in holes, we'll use the portal.
All right. So, what's it like playing in front of a sold-out crowd at SHI Stadium?
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah. It's loud as can be. The stadium is built in such a way that it goes kind of straight up. Some of the loudest games that I've ever coached have happened out in that stadium. So that's saying a lot for, a sold-out joint's probably 53, 54,000. And
I'm assuming it helps you as a coach.
100%. It helps our team.
It's all the more reason people need to get out to SHI Stadium this year.
Yeah. If you were at Michigan last year, you couldn't hear yourself.
That was pretty impressive. Mm-hmm. What can fans expect this year while attending the games?
We'll be better. We're getting better little by little. As I said when I came back, there's no quick pill that you take to fix this, right? It had gone from being a really established program, a bowl program every year, to all of a sudden we're in a really bad way. So it took 9 years to get to that. It's going to take a few years to get us back, but we'll get back. I'm confident of that, and when we do, this time it's got to be built to last, so we're putting some things in place to make sure that happens.
So you want to make sure there's a legacy. I get it.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the depth on the team this season?
Like everything else, it's getting better, right? So those young guys that came here, they were 18 years old, now they're 20. So they're in Coach Butler's strength program for 2 years now. They've been around
And he's
our
been
culture.
with you for a number of years.
Yeah, Jay has been with us all 11 years the first time, and he's been with us the 3 years we've been back now. So
Are you expecting any challenges for any positions this?
yeah, just about every position. Yeah,
Okay.
we competition is the key. The minute you stop competing, things will slide back, and you can't have that. So we compete every single day. We compete in the weight room. We compete in the classroom, and we certainly compete on the field.
So who do you think are going to be the bright stars on the offense this year?
Well, that's yet to be seen, and not to put pressure on guys, but Gavin Wimsatt is a young, talented player, right? He needs to continue to improve.
He's pretty quick when he gets the ball to run.
You're not kidding. Sam Brown showed what he could do as a running back, right? Receivers, we brought some receivers in. We have some young receivers. The tight end position, a guy that's been around a long time, Johnny Langan, I think is ready to take the next step. There's guys that are in our program right now that I think have a chance.
And Langdon,
to grow.
this is, I believe, his final year.
This is it. Yep.
Okay.
This will be his last shot.
As defensively, can we expect a tough style play your teams normally do right there, obviously?
Yep. I'm confident we'll have a real good defense this year, and our secondary is experienced. Our linebacker core is deep and experienced, and our front has a chance to be real good. So I'm excited about our defense.
Special teams. I know that's one of your strengths as a coach. You always pride yourself on special teams. Can we have some great expectations out of that?
I think we can. I think we lost arguably the best punter. No doubt the best punter I've ever had. He won the Ray Guy Award, which is the best punter in college football. So we have to replace him, and I think we have someone that can do that. But until he does it, it's yet to be determined. As a team, though, we put a lot of time and effort into special teams, and we dedicate the resources, mainly the personnel. We play starters on special teams. If you need a rest, you take it on offense or defense.
Yeah. So as far as special teams goes, I know you were very fortunate to coach, as you were talking about the punting. How unique, because he was from Australia. When you go to look for special teams, do you really take a wide net, like worldwide, to go look for special teams?
Well, his punting style, that's where you go get it. You get it over there in Australia, and the Australian rules football, they're moving, and at the last second they kick the ball. So when you go find a guy who can do that, they have this place over there called Pro Kick Australia. And it's a service. They train the kids, and then you go there and recruit. Well, great story is when Adam went home after the bowl game, I told him, I said, you need to go find the guy that's going to replace you. I'd like to bring him in a year early, and you can train him how to do everything, how to travel, how to prepare as a punter here. And he did that. He brought Flynn Appleby here. Okay. And Flynn is really done a great job since Adam's moved on. Adam has helped coach him, has helped us get him ready. So that's what I say. He needs to go out and do it, but I'm very confident he will.
That is a very interesting story. Do you think there's going to be any certain players that are going to have a breakout season this year?
Well, some of the guys I mentioned on offense. Defensively, I think we have a lot of guys that can play at a very high level, but we play at a very high level, right? The Big Ten East, there's not a better division in all of college football, so we have to play at a high level just to have a chance to win.
What would Coach Schiano of 2023 say to Coach Schiano of 205, 206?
Go back to 202. Let's do that. When we were 1-11. Hang in there, big guy. It'll get better.
Yeah. The teams that you're going to be up against this year, what breakout roles you see with some of your competitors there this year?
Well, you don't really.
As you said, with the division,
the Big Ten East is as tough as it gets, right? With Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan State. You go down the list, it's one after another. And then, when we jump over to the West, our cross-conference play, we have Wisconsin and Iowa and Northwestern. So really we have quite a matchup this year, quite a schedule.
So in other words, you got your hands full.
Oh, yeah.
I know the athletic department's planning the Rutgers boardwalk here prior to the games. What's your thoughts on that?
Oh, I love it. I think, I don't get to spend any time there, but when we come around the horn and start to pull in, you see so many people having a great time. And the boardwalk is something I think that everybody identifies New Jersey with, right? If you go down the shore,
we have some of the best boardwalks in the world.
That's right.
Yeah.
So to bring it here to SHI Stadium and bring it to the Rutgers campus in Piscataway, I think it's great. I think it's a great opportunity to take your family to a really good, wholesome event and have a great day with your entire family.
So I'm going to ask you the final question, and it's not a trick question. Basically, you're a North Jersey guy out of Bergen County. Is there really a Central New Jersey?
That's been going around lately, hasn't it? You're darn right there is, and we're sitting in it, right? We are.
The only reason I'm asking that because the state legislature just passed a bill, and the governor, I believe, signed it into law saying that there's actually Central New Jersey now.
Oh, I didn't know that. Is that
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
So.
One of the things that I think, and it's really important to me, and I really thought we accomplished it to a large degree the first time. North Jersey and South Jersey, at least in high school football, always used to be so separate. We actually had a game where they'd play each other, right?
Yeah.
To me, that was not the right idea. We, as Rutgers football, being right in the middle of the state, have brought the football playing schools together, and we're doing it again this second go-around. And I think that's critical because, yes, they identify with a different city, South Jersey with Philly, North Jersey with New York, but the reality is this is New Jersey, and that's who we are. What is it, 9.6 million people
exactly.
in this,
As
in
you
this state.
finally say, the state of Rutgers.
There you go. So this is a place that the entire state can get behind, and there'll be a lot of reasons to do that going forward.
So we're going to ask Piscataway, myself as the mayor, we're going to ask folks locally, not just in Piscataway, but around the state to come out and support Coach Schiano and his team in this year's 2023 season out there. We like to see people in the seats, in the stands. And
that's great.
That's
Looking
what's
forward
critical to helping the team out to win. So with that, thank you, Coach Schiano, for stopping by on Piscataway. But in our case, we're stopping by your workshop. And it's nice to see all the players here in the building. So
Yeah, it's awesome.
with that, thanks a lot.
Appreciate it, Mayor.
Good. Well, we're going to go to some additional video now of action-packed items that happened throughout the month of July here in Piscataway Township. And once again, I want to thank Rutgers head football coach Greg Schiano for allowing us to stop by here at SHI Stadium for a quick interview. But I also want to say, if you want to see more of the video feeds for the month of July, you can go to the YouTube page for PCTV, channel 15. And we'll see you in August.
Some of you will venture far past Piscataway city limits. Some of you will be right in this very arena, cheering on your Scarlet Knights. But no matter where you go, take with you the skills and values you learned from your teachers, your friends, your deans, your administrators, to help you navigate the next phase of your journey. In closing, class of 2023, I want to thank you for being such a wonderful group of individuals. Congratulations to you all, and best of luck to your future endeavors.
During the last 4 years, we've all experienced things not going to plan. But what good story starts with everything going as planned? You know, Anakin turned to the dark side, Macbeth kept on listening to those witches, Wile E. Coyote never caught the Roadrunner, and Kanye got his mouth wired shut. But we've all felt rejection, disappointment, and failure. Who can't relate to the misery that comes along with frustration and defeat? And on top of that, even whenever I accomplished something, it felt cool, but only for a few minutes. Soon I'd find myself feeling that same dejection. I'd wonder, what's next? I'd ask, how else do I prove myself? How can I do that thing even better? Be grateful for every rejection, disappointment, and failure, even if you feel terrible in the moment. Enjoy the growth you experience from those setbacks. Choose not to feel judged by those around you or any missteps. Wanting to get better and being happy with what you've already done aren't mutually exclusive. You should improve yourself for yourself and love every step of the journey.
I remember being so shocked to learn that I was expected to walk from geometry in the back of Patton all the way to Chinese at the top of Anthony in 6 minutes. While I may have been a slow walker, I did quickly develop a few rules to live by. Many of you may have also related to these rules. Rule number 1, there's a right way, a wrong way, and a P way. You have to learn to adapt around here because you will be told no. Some things, scratch that, many things won't make sense, but you will learn to persevere and thrive despite the confusion. Rule number 2, do not get lost in the endless spiral that is the D-Wing, a maze that is only paralleled by Daedalus' labyrinth. Again, another source of complete and utter confusion, and a bit scary when the impending doom of the bell ringing is about to hit at any second. Rule number 3, forget about texting in the B-Wing, the C-Wing, the D-Wing, the F-Wing, upstairs Patton, either of the lunchrooms, actually pretty much anywhere in the building at all. Stereotypically, high schoolers around the world twiddle their fingers at their phone screens, but it's hard to be a stereotypical high schooler at Piscataway High School with our many unique experiences.
I welcome our staff, our students, and their families. I'd like to recognize Mayor Waller and the esteemed members of the Town Council to this celebration, and extend my heartfelt thanks to our board president, Ms. Chantel Cherry, our Board of Education, our superintendent, Dr. Ranelli, and the district leadership team for their continuing support. Today may seem like an end, but really it's a beginning for you. You'll leave here tonight and go off to college, into the workforce, the military, or maybe you don't know what the next chapter of your life will be. And that's okay too, because the secret is, none of us can predict the future. What's important is we know that what makes us happy and we work to pursue those things. Have dreams, but remember the doing is more important than the dreaming. So go forth with the support of the Piscataway family. From Children's Corner to Randolphville, from Grandview to Eisenhower, from Knollwood to Arbor and King, from Kanakamak to Shore and Quibbletown, knowing that once a chief, always a chief.
Congratulations to the class of 2023. Let's give them a big round of applause one more time.
Whether you are a Randolphville raccoon, a Norwood kangaroo, an Eisenhower eagle, a Grandview gecko, an MLK penguin, a Arbor alligator, a Shore hawk, a Quibbletown golden knight, a Kanakamak Junior Chief, tonight is your last night as a P-Way Super Chief. P-Way, you know.
It is my honor to present to you the class of 2023.
But because I knew you, because I knew you, because I knew you, I have been changed for good.
Well, Thank you all for coming out this morning, but more importantly, thank you, Congressman Bloom, for coming to the Metlar-Bodine House Museum as you've done in the past, as always. But I, first of all, on behalf of the 61,000 people of Piscataway Township, I want to thank you for all the hard work that you've been doing on behalf of this historic facility here. We're expecting great things to happen over the next 18 months here, like that has been for the last 300 plus years. I think it's only fitting that the congressman comes here to talk about the federal grant that he was able to attain for the museum, given that we're July 4th, our celebration of our country's founding is upon us, and the fact that Piscataway Township had played a unique role as in celebrating the first 4th of July celebration nationally.
When we talk about how people don't know about the history, the only way they're going to find out is if you do educational programs, get them interested in finding out more about not only the role of the Metlar-Bodine House, but also of Piscataway and the whole area, which is so important. What is the East Jersey, Old Town, and so many other places in New Brunswick and other parts of Middlesex County. Now, this place is actually owned by and operated by the town, that's right? But without the community involvement, and there's so many people here, and I've seen it every time I come here, there's such enthusiasm and people volunteering and helping out, because that's important too, because if you don't have that, then, you know, how are you going to operate, right? You can't afford to have people here every day operating, opening the place, doing everything. And so I want to mention that as well, because I know that whenever I come to Piscataway, there's so much community involvement in everything. And in the history of the town, and this place is also an important part of that. So thank you for all you do.
This event is New Jersey's best kept secret. It's an incredible event that happened here on July 4th, right after the Battle of Monmouth. And I want to tell you that we all know happened in 1778. Okay, the Battle of Monmouth. So when was the first birthday of America? In July 1777. But what happened that year? Well, first of all, celebrations were very sporadic because, of course, America wasn't winning. The troops weren't really winning. They were in dire straits. George Washington was in Morristown hiding, hoping he wasn't going to get hung. And nothing really happened on that first birthday. Not any big, huge celebrations. At the end of July, Congress met and they finally decided on a day to choose as Independence Day. And they said, okay, from now on, it's going to be the 4th of July officially. That's the first national holiday is the 4th of July. And what happened was the following year, Washington came up here after the Battle of Monmouth, after the successful Battle of Monmouth, where the British were fleeing off of Sandy Hook. They came up here, 11,500 of them. They were resting. And he was at Ross Hall. He had his headquarters at Ross Hall, which is about a quarter of a mile up on River Road. And there he wrote this order on July 3rd. Tomorrow, the anniversary of the Declaration of Independence will be celebrated by the firing of 13 pieces of a cannon and a feu de joie, literally meaning fire of joy, of the whole line. The army will be formed on the Brunswick side of the Raritan at 5 o'clock in the afternoon on the ground pointed out by the Quartermaster General Nathaniel Greene. The soldiers are to adorn their hats with green boughs and make the best appearance possible. The disposition will be given in orders of tomorrow. Double allowance of rum will be served out. When you see the wall, when it comes back, I know that you're going to absolutely feel its presence. It's the only physical link to this incredible event. Thank you.
पूरा कर रहे हैं अब ये मंत्र ओम अग्नेयाय सुपहाराय अस्मान विश्वानि देव वयुनानि
to make Piscataway Township an even better place to live. I'm here today also representing Governor Phil Murphy, who unfortunately had another commitment, but he said that I had the power today to make Dr. Panadilla an honorary citizen of New Jersey. And he doesn't have to pay the income taxes in New Jersey as well. That's the other thing. I wish you a great celebration. I'm looking forward to 2026, which I understand is going to be just a super celebration.
I want to thank the doctor for coming here and visiting Piscataway to spread his spiritual wisdom here with the residents here of Middlesex County, and you're always welcome to come back. He told me he's putting on a lot of freaking flyer miles. I said, where are you going next? He's going to Canada. Okay. Chicago? Chicago. Well, I think Piscataway's better than Chicago.
Thank you, Mayor Waller. On behalf of Gayatri Center, the entire fraternity of Gayatri Center that is spreading across 80 different countries with 110 million members and 5,000 centers all across the world. I convey our first gratitude to you for being here today.
Why don't you tell the folks of Piscataway who your family is here?
So this is my mom. Her name's Busha. That's my dad, Shahin. These are my two younger brothers. The one with the bright Hawaiian shirt, that's Dowd, and the one with the dark one is Assad. So,
all right, so the moral of the story is when you're Piscataway, behave when you're driving. You don't get pulled over by your brother.
We're from East Brunswick, so I guess we're familiar with that already.
Okay, place your. Okay, raise your right hand. Raise your right. No, you got it right there. Raise your right, just like you're in court.
All right.
Okay. Okay, repeat after me. I, Ahmad,
I, Ahmad,
do solemnly swear
that
I will support
the
Constitution of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
of
the State of New Jersey.
That
I will bear true faith
I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established
in
the United States
and
in this state.
Under
the authority of the people,
I will faithfully,
impartially, and justly perform all the duties of Office of Probationary Police Officer
as officer
probationary
police officer
according to the best of my ability. So help me God.
So
Well,
help
in
me
this
God.
case, you're in the car. Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That was easy.
Dad, congratulations.
I want to thank everyone for coming out and supporting our newest member of the Piscataway Police Department, Ahmad Muhammad. I know it's been some time since we've been able to do this, and it's really nice to be back in person, doing in-person swearing-ins. Ahmad is a lifelong resident of East Brunswick. He attended Rutgers University before becoming an emergency medical technician and eventually enrolling in Camden County Police Academy as an alternate route candidate. When I received Ahmad's resume, the first thing that caught my attention was his college major, cell biology and neuroscience.
Yeah.
We all know that we don't typically see that from police applicants.
No.
So of course it raised a number of questions. Yet from his resume to his interview to his background investigation, Ahmad stood out for a number of reasons. He was professional, he was courteous, and he was eager. Since then, he's been here for 2 weeks, and he's embodied all of those qualities. And I welcome him amongst our ranks. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
This wonderful community solar project, which is right here, take a look at this picture. This is helping deliver on the promises that Governor Phil Murphy, Senator Bob Smith, the state legislature, and the Board of Public Utilities brought to bear with its landmark community solar legislation.
This is literally a shining example of how business and industry and government can come together to produce green energy for the residents here at Piscataway. Not only that, but more closely across the state. From what I've been told is that once we're going to have a program to sign up where possibly the residents that meet the income guidelines, they will be able to get lower energy bills because of a site like this. And, you know, in this time of kind for seniors out there and those folks that are scraping by, if they can get by with, you know, 10, 15, 20% off their electric bill, that's a damn good thing. And let's clap to that right there. Come on.
This is not only very environmentally friendly, very good on the climate change side, very good on the air pollution side, does a whole bunch of things, but it's also good for low and moderate income households, all right, who don't have a chance frequently to put solar on their roofs, or they're in multi-family housing, which may not have an ability to access solar. So we're keeping some of the promises of solar by facilities just like this. And Solar Landscape, you're to be congratulated. Cool Art for allowing this on your rooftop, the Sudler organization. You got it all together. This is really what we should be doing. Putting it again in the bigger picture. Anybody here a couple weeks ago for all that smoke from Canada? There's more in your future. Anybody see the floods in New York State this past week? The roads being ripped up, the buildings collapsing. There's more of that in your future. And there's more and more of it unless we do more and more of this. The one thing we have in New Jersey is warehouse roofs. And we do have legislation in the queue to provide tax incentives for already existing warehouses so that they can do the retrofit. We also have legislation in place that says when you build a new warehouse anywhere in New Jersey, you have to pre-wire it for solar. We also have legislation that says you have to put in so many charging stations for any new construction. And what that's all telling you is that one of the biggest gripes that you hear about warehouses have become a dirty word in New Jersey and many towns, is their concern for the environmental impact. Where this is going, well, this is going to low and moderate income households, but every warehouse owner or tenant should be doing this. Why? Because we're mandating clean trucks, really clean trucks in New Jersey, meaning not diesel fuel. So doesn't it make sense to have the sun loading the batteries in any truck or auto that you're going to use as part of your business? I mean, I hate to use the phrase no-brainer, but it really is a no-brainer. And this is a great way we can help slow down global climate impact, because it's happening, it's here. This is part of the solution to that problem. So congratulations to everybody.
Under the governor's leadership, along with President Friedrichs, New Jersey has seen solar deployment skyrocket, and it's become a growing portion of the state's energy portfolio. And that's really critical to meeting our clean energy goals. And it's this leadership, along with the legislature, that has enabled New Jersey to do its part to mitigate the climate crisis and strive toward our goal of 100% clean energy by 2035. I think everyone here knows that we have been a longtime leader in solar energy in New Jersey. And with this project and under the community solar program, we are going to continue that leadership. It's been an important mechanism for solar deployment, and it serves as a national model for clean energy equity, which is an issue I care very deeply about. In addition to the environmental benefits, as I know you all know, for over 20 years, solar installations have helped Garden State residents save on their energy bills, and this project is going to do just that. Prior to the development of community solar, the benefits were reserved for residents who had the ability to install solar on their homes. And this program and this project really changes that trajectory. New Jersey's community solar program allows all residents, regardless of ownership or income, to benefit from solar energy.
I'm proud that we have an environmentally conscious tenant that's been leaning forward and seeking out renewable sources of energy. Mark, with Colart, I think you've emailed me 50 times over the years saying, hey, let's go, we got to do solar, let's get solar going here. So thanks for kudos to you, and I think that says a lot about Colart. We're excited to host a community solar installation on this rooftop and others like it. This project's part of our 9.7 megawatt portfolio of 11 community solar projects hosted by the Sudler companies, which will soon power more than 1,500 homes in New Jersey. Thanks to Community Solar and Solar Landscape, the rooftop on this building and other Sudler buildings across the state have become a powerful tool in our transition to a clean energy economy.
Kohler houses many fine art brands that have allowed artists to innovate for centuries. We are a company that prides ourselves on our people, our communities, and uphold this vision to inspire every artist in the world with sustainable tools to explore their creativity. Sustainability has long been a core value for Kohler, both here in North America and globally. Kohler's recent certification as a B Corporation supports our commitment to the environment and to society, allowing us to join a community that uses business as a force for good. This includes energy target to continually reduce our energy consumption while using renewable energy whenever possible.
Edison Job Corps is extremely proud to be part of the accomplishment being made within the solar industry, and especially with Solar Landscape. Having worked with the Job Corps industry for over 25 years, I can tell you that New Jersey is taking the lead nationally. The Community Solar Initiative, established by Governor Phil Murphy, is clearly showing its leadership in green technology. And I have to tell you, having worked within the Job Corps for 25 years and worked across the country within the Job Corps program, we are on the cutting edge.
Everybody coming out. This is the first of 6 Thursday night concerts during the between July and August. We're encouraging everybody to come out, enjoy some beautiful music out here, and also some camaraderie with your fellow residents here of Piscataway, and enjoy the beautiful park setting out here. It's taken many years to get where we had to go here for this park. Right now we're finishing the last of the park extension on Lakeview Avenue. Right now it's under construction, so hopefully in a couple of weeks it'll be finished up that people will be able to use it.
Hi everybody, welcome to our first concert in the park, and we've got a great summer planned for you. So hopefully we're all going to have great weather like this the entire summer. And let's go in with the concert with the Colorblind Band.
That's right. Thank you. Let's give a round of applause to those volunteers on the Cultural Arts Commission. All right, let's give a warm Piscataway welcome to the Colorblind Band.
afraid, no how. Be afraid, just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. DCTV.
Happy 4th!
Just as a side note, for those folks that have been here the first time, this park is named after Jeffrey Byrne, who is a Lake Nelson resident who died in combat in Vietnam. He was a warrant officer for the U.S. Army and a helicopter pilot. So that's who this park is named after. So just keep that in mind when we're celebrating 4th of July here in this park and who it's named after. And don't forget, we're going to have a beautiful fireworks display tonight by Grucci out of Long Island. Everybody knows that name. Very famous fireworks company here on the East Coast. So please enjoy it. I believe the weather's going to cooperate for us tonight.
We can hope.
And I'm going to turn the mic back over for you to.
Okay, so I'm wearing two hats today. So the other thing we like to do before we get to judging all of those great decorated floats is to just say a few words to remember what the 4th of July is really all about, why we are here. And if you go back 248 years, what happened right here in Piscataway was something truly extraordinary. That the people came together to establish a new nation conceived in liberty, to quote Abraham Lincoln, and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. And that they went on to establish this nation for we the people in order to establish a more perfect union. Never perfect, but always working to be better. And it's an extraordinary place drawn from people from all over the world. If you look at the backside of any of your coins, you'll see the phrase e pluribus unum, of many one, reflecting the fact that Americans come from all parts of the world. They grew up speaking many different languages, they can have many different religions, and that we are all equal together in this nation formed around an ideal, the ideal that government comes from the consent of the governed, and that we can collectively work out our differences in order to establish that more perfect union. But the freedom that comes with that is not free, and it takes sacrifice. And the sacrifices can be in many different forms. It can be small things like standing up for a neighbor who's experiencing injustice, or it can be great things like the sacrifice that Jeffrey Byrne made on behalf of his country, and that many of our veterans here today willingly put themselves out, possibly to make that greatest sacrifice.